And it's lights out and away we go here at Laguna Seca, and it's a great start there from Mastoja. He immediately cuts across Dalavan there to take the lead. You see in the background there, RS Jim third, trying to defend off Loda. It looks like Loda's got the inside there, coming up towards turn one. Somebody's gone way off into the wall there. I think that looks like he's used the PC and LeBron both involved in that one. Also, MRL was caught up in that as well, so very unfortunate there for those guys. Mastoja leads though, coming through turns for 3 and 4. Looks like Dalavan managing to keep hold on ahead of Loda there for second place. Looks like Loda coming under increasing pressure from RS Jim, having got ahead of him coming into turn 1. Spliffmeister currently sat in 5th. We've got Pady in 6th, then Foul Tom 7th place. Smoky Devil, we've got McLennan in 9th place at the moment with Katie Spalding right behind him. Looks like Katie Spalding's had a moment there and used the PC, and LeBron having to swerve out of the way. MRL likewise. Katie Spalding having a bit of a moment coming through the first sector there. She's down to 13th place on the opening lap, but Mastoja leading this race. He's pulled out a second already to Dalavan here as they come through the corkscrew. A lot of trying to fend off Spliffmeister. Spliffmeister's got ahead of RS Jim up into 4th place. Good move there from Spliffmeister. He's going to be racing in our GTEs here at Motive Racing for this upcoming season. His first season in the GTEs. He's raced regularly in the GT3s and touring cars over the last couple of seasons. He's having to really work hard to fend off RS Jim here, but it looks like he's managed to keep ahead of him for the time being in that 4th place. Pady trying to get involved in this action. The man who was second in the last race at the Red Bull Ring, really piling on the pressure here in this battle to get up into 4th place. Mastoja though leading the race by 1.5 seconds at the moment. He's got Dalavan in 2nd place. Looks like Dalavan's put some space between himself and Loda as well, so Loda dropping off for these two guys at the front. Spliffmeister looks like he's trying to hold it on the inside of RS Jim. RS Jim trying to get it around the long way of turn 1, and RS Jim it looks like he's also going to have Pady looking to his outside as well, but Pady's not able to get that one done. RS Jim holding on to that P5 at the moment. These 3 cars battling over 4th place here, separated by a second on the road, so this is incredibly close racing between these 3. Foul Tom currently running in 7th place still. He's got McGlenn 5 seconds down the road from him. McGlenn though trying to fend off LeBron by the looks of it, so it looks like there's a battle developing here between these 8th and 9th place drivers. MRL's pinned it into the wall. Yellow flag coming through the first sector. MRL's but it's the barriers. Oh, Katie Spalding's coming round, and Katie Spalding's made the same mistake in the same place on the track. So those two both crashing into the barriers there. Katie Spalding had to try and take evasive action. In the end, she binned it into the barrier herself. Looks like use the PC and Smoky Devil coming around the crash site now. Be careful of the debris, guys. Looks like we see a front bumper going flying in the air. That was either Katie Spalding's or MRL, but those two losing lots of time. Mastoja though leads this race still by 1.7 seconds at the moment over Dalavan. Dalavan looks like he's dropping back a little bit off of the leader, but last time around he was only 2/10 slower, so Dalavan, if he can pick up pace a little bit, find a bit of time, he might be able to have a chance of winning this race. Loda there, sat P3. Looks like Spliffmeister's up the inside of Loda, up into turn 1. He's pushed him a little bit wide there. Bit of rubbing between the wheels, but that's Spliffmeister up into the final podium spot. Now RS Jim is going to fancy a go on Loda as well here. He looks up to the inside there, and the Ferrari just robs the Ford a little bit, but that is the RS Jim there squeezing Loda out. Loda taking the polystyrene braking markers with him, but that is RS Jim following Spliffmeister through and up into 3rd place there. Good driving from those guys. Looks like Katie Spalding's into the pits, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but clearly something wrong with the car. She emerges in P12 by the looks of it. RS Jim though is still trying to fend off Loda, having made that move on him a few moments ago. Oh no, Spliffmeister's wide onto the dirt, and he loses time there. Looks like RS Jim and Loda both up into P3 and 4 respectively. Spliffmeister falling back here in this race after making some good progress near the start of this one, but I'm sure we'll be back fighting for this podium spot. These 3 guys have put on a hell of a show so far, and long may it continue. Oh no! Spliffmeister going very wide in the corner after the corkscrew there, onto the dirt on the exit of the corner. That will not be what he would have wanted. He's dropped back into the clutches of Foul Tom, but more importantly, well off at the battle for 3rd place with RS Jim and Loda. Coming over the line to complete lap 3 of this race. There is RS Jim in that Ferrari. He's currently fending off Loda by a little bit, as we can see there, but I think RS Jim's pulled out a bit of a gap in that final sector. In fact, last time around, RS Jim lapping in the 1:22s, so that is some pretty scorching pace there from him. He might try and build a gap to Loda here and cement his position in that final podium spot. Mastoja still leading this race at the moment by 1.8 seconds last time around. Mastoja and Dalavan matching each other in terms of lap times. They're so close in terms of pace, but we'll see if whether Dalavan can just cut into that gap a little bit, try and make some progress. And we see a back marker there, getting well out of shape. Who is that? Is that User PC? It is indeed. He's got all over the dirt there, and thankfully Mustaja and Dalavan coming. No, Dalavan looks like he might have made some sympathetic excursion there or something. Oh, what's going on here? Mustaja running into the back of the back marker User PC. Very unusual there. Dalavan is going to be seething after that. What is going on here? It looks like in the end User PC allows him past, but Dalavan's lost a little bit of time to Mustaja. He'll have to regroup and go again. Mustaja, very sportsmanlike from Mustaja. I've got to say, hats off. That is props for sportsmanship there from Mustaja. He holds up and waits for Dalavan to get back to the gap that he was at before flooring the throttle and going again. So the gap 1.8 seconds is exactly as you were here, guys. That is brilliant stuff there from Mustaja. So it's pretty much continue as we were. RS Jim and Lotta still battling over P3 and 4. Lotta sticking to the back of him, having lost that position a couple of laps ago. He'll be hoping he can get up back onto that podium spot. Spliffmeister still running in P5 at the moment. He's 9 seconds off of the leaders. He's pulled away from Foul Tom since making that mistake, which dropped him back into the clutches of Foul Tom a few laps ago. Lotta still giving RS Jim a lot to worry about here. He's sticking all up at his chuff at the moment, but he's not quite close enough to go for a lunge up the inside. Obviously Lotta being in that Ford, RS Jim in the Ferrari. RS Jim will have much better straight line speed, but in the twisty sections of the track, stuff like the corkscrew, that is where the Ford is going to come into its own. RS Jim doing a great job at the moment. Gap at the front, 2.1 seconds between Mustaja and Dalavan. Dalavan last time around 6 tenths quicker than Mustaja. We'll see what the split times are this time around. See if Dalavan's made any more inroads on our race leader. 1 minute 20.7 from Mustaja, 121.7 from Dalavan. So Mustaja's pulled out a second on that lap alone. He's starting to really find a rhythm here. Maybe Dalavan's tyres starting to go off a little bit. Both of these guys on the hard tyres, which are definitely going to be losing grip at this time of the night here in the desert in Nevada. Oh no! It looks like Lotta's lost the car. In the background there, we were riding with RS Jim and we just saw Lotta getting a little bit out of shape. He's lost about a second or two to RS Jim with that one. He didn't completely lose the car, but he was definitely on a knife's edge there. There is Katie Spaulding moving over to the side. She's a lap down. She can see the leaders coming through. Hats off to her as she lets everyone come through there. That's Spliffmeister there coming up through. Currently P5 in this race. Spliffmeister is only 3 seconds behind Lotta, so he could maybe fancy his chances of getting up into a P4 here in this race. And it looks like Mustaja's made a mistake here, ladies and gentlemen, because Dalavan now within a second of the race leader here. So Dalavan's really got his foot to the floor, and Mustaja potentially a little excursion somewhere on the track. We're not quite sure, but this is incredibly close between these guys now. Dalavan might fancy having a look coming into turn 1. These two Ferraris currently going toe to toe here as they come out of the last corner to complete lap 6 of this race. 6.5 minutes left on the clock. We're 9 minutes into this race. Looks like Dalavan too far back to go for the move coming into turn 1. Both of those guys had scruffy laps compared to what we've seen so far in this race though, because we've seen both of these boys in the high 1 minute 20s. Last time around Mustaja 124, Dalavan in the 123s, so they both made mistakes. Dalavan will probably be counting his chickens that he's gained time on the race leader over the course of this lap, because you wouldn't have expected him to with a lap time like that. Currently matching the same times of RS Jim and Spliffmeister. 123s there in. They have been in the 120s before though. So Mustaja still leading this race by half a second at the moment. Dalavan is really hounding and hassling him, pushing him, trying to take the fight for the race win to Mustaja. Mustaja's led since the get-go here in this one, so he's controlled the race from out the front. How much longer is his lead going to be held on to though, with Dalavan ever putting the pressure on him? 4.5 seconds these boys have got back to RS Jim in 3rd place. RS Jim has either picked up the pace or these guys have dropped off of it a little bit, because RS Jim now within 5 seconds of the two leaders as they come into the final corner for lap 7 of this race. Dalavan doesn't seem able to get close enough to be in striking distance of Nostalgia. Nostalgia's always got about half a second in hand as you come into the braking zone. You probably need to be within 2 or 3 tenths of the car in front to even consider going for a late braking manoeuvre in these GT3 cars. It's not advisable if you've got a bit of a gap to them, but Nostalgia holding on very nicely at the moment. 7 tenths between these guys. They're coming up on some traffic here. That looks to be, is that Katie again? No, it's not. It is, oh, it's User PC again. Oh no, User PC loses the car. He's got all sorts of out of shape there, and Nostalgia has lost the lead. It looks like Nostalgia is in the wall. What is going on? Nostalgia, they're getting caught up in the back markers battle, and he's now lost lots and lots of time there. He's losing place after place after place. He emerges finally in P5. So it looks like, that is actually heartbreaking there for Nostalgia. Dalavan is trying to wait for Nostalgia, but Nostalgia's retired from the race, so he can't. So Dalavan has relinquished his lead. RS Jim now leads this race by 2.2 seconds to Spliffmeister. Question is, can Dalavan make the gains on these guys and get himself back up into P1 before we reach the end of the race? We know he's got the pace to, as we can see there, a back marker getting out of the way. So RS Jim, Spliffmeister, Dalavan, the top 3. Lauda not too far behind them as well. We know that Dalavan's got the outright pace over these guys, but the question is, can he find a way through? Catching up is one thing, overtaking is another. So RS Jim there, looks like he's been passed by Spliffmeister around the outside, coming up towards turn 1. Spliffmeister now the new race leader here at Laguna as we come into turn 1 for the 9th time here in this race. We've got 3 laps left to go, including this one. Spliffmeister, Dalavan makes the move up the inside of RS Jim, up into 2nd place. He'll be setting his sights on the new race leader Spliffmeister. Dalavan is probably the man who'd be most worthy of this race win. He's been the one who's been fighting it out with Nostalgia. Nostalgia had that incident with the back marker there which caused him to retire from the race, but out of the guys on the track at the moment, I would say that Dalavan is definitely the most deserving of this win. Spliffmeister though, currently with track position, currently with the ascendancy. Dalavan's going to have to work for this one. He probably wouldn't have expected to after Nostalgia's retirement, but Dalavan tried to be sportsmanlike and actually backed off and started waiting for Nostalgia, and then Nostalgia retired from the race, which essentially just nullified that attempt of Dalavan to back off and wait for him. So Dalavan now 3 tenths of a second behind the race leader Spliffmeister as we come into the final corner. Just about to start the penultimate lap here. This one, oh, Spliffmeister goes wide, coming out of the last turn, and he chops across Dalavan there. He was trying to move over and allow Dalavan past, but Dalavan didn't read the script and tried to move to the inside there to pass him. So a bit of miscommunication there. Spliffmeister was flashing his lights to say go on, but it was a bit of a day late and a dollar short type of gesture. But Dalavan up into P1 nonetheless. Spliffmeister down to 2nd. And I think Dalavan's going to drive away with this one now. We know that he's pretty much got the pace over everyone on this track tonight. He is surely going to ride off into the sunset with this one. RS Jim currently sat in P3, coming up on some traffic here. And oh, it looks like the traffic there, was that Katie? It was. Yeah, Katie gets into the wall there and moves back on her way once again. But there's RS Jim. He's up into, well, he's got a second and a half back to Lauda in P4, so RS Jim should be alright for that final podium spot. Spliffmeister, to his credit, sticking to the back of Dalavan. Dalavan not running away with this. A lap and a bit left to go in this one. I think Dalavan has got this one covered though. So Dalavan exits the last corner out onto the pit straight for the 10th time here in this race. He's about to start lap 11 of this one. Dalavan has driven an absolutely superb race. Had a fantastic battle with Nostalgia. Nostalgia very unfortunately got caught up with a back marker. It's just one of those things that is racing, unfortunately, and he had to retire from the race. Dalavan got a 1.7 second lead over Spliffmeister. He lost the lead, tried very sportsmanly to wait for Nostalgia, who got stuck in the wall. Nostalgia retired from the race, so Dalavan essentially did wait for nothing, but he got it going once again. He didn't let that affect him. He got his head down, got himself back in the game, closed in on Spliffmeister, made the move on him, and he's currently got the lead of the race. Coming up on some traffic here, it looks like it might be McGlenn there. So McGlenn there gets well out of the way of the leader by the looks of it. Where is he? We'll have to wait. Yep, he does. There we go. So well done, McGlenn. Thank you very much. That's Swiftmeister's closed up a little bit on Dalavan actually, so maybe Dalavan had to just get out of a little bit there as he was putting a lap on McGlenn. Oh, we see those guys coming together a little bit. Dalavan has to cut out the corkscrew. He goes straight on over the dirt, and Spliffmeister is back up into the lead of the race here. This is incredible. What a development on this last lap. Spliffmeister leading the race, and Dalavan has now got to throw caution to the wind coming into the last turn. They're side by side coming into the last corner. Dalavan up the inside, and he's going to get this one done. Spliffmeister goes off into the last corner, and he's going to have to, well, it looks like he's going to lose that position to RS Jim. RS Jim up into P2, but Dalavan takes the race win. Oh, I didn't see that one coming. So Dalavan got held up behind the back marker there, lost the position to Spliffmeister, and then Spliffmeister got loose coming out of the penultimate corner into the last turn, and Dalavan takes a well-deserved victory there. RS Jim P2. Lodder comes round to complete the podium. Spliffmeister P4, and LeBron coming over to finish in 5th place. Pady, not a great race from him compared to what we saw at Red Bull Ring last time out. 6th place for him. Foul Tom is coming in towards the last couple of corners now. It's going to be 7th place for Foul Tom in that Ferrari. McGlenn and Katie Spalding classified in 8th and 9th, a couple of laps down each. But what a drive from Dalavan there. Absolutely brilliant performance from him. Unlucky to Nostalgia. Hopefully he'll stick around, be back for the next one. But guys, if you enjoyed what you see and you enjoyed the racing out on track, then make sure you join us at motiveracing.com. That is where you can get involved in some of the cleanest, fastest and most authentic sim racing on the PlayStation 4 platform. Get involved. Make sure you join us for our GTEs every Monday night, starting up in 2 days time at Texas Road Course. But thank you very much guys, and be back in a few minutes for the next race.